Hi, this is Vic Cundiff. You're listening to the Bigfoot Club Podcast. Cryptids, sports, entertainment for life.
Hey everybody, Bigfoot Club, Bigfoot Bob. I'm here with my nephew, Skooum Steven. This is season 7, episode 22.
22.
Steven, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Pretty darn good.
That's good to hear.
The boys are asleep.
Yeah. They're going to be asleep in an hour, I guess. Because you know how you sit in the bed and there's that little wind down.
Yeah.
And sometimes they go to sleep quick, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
It's weird because we're doing a show on a Thursday night, and we rarely do shows on Thursday night. But this is a special occasion.
It
today.
is. Why is it special?
Because today in the club, we have Sarah Bignell, Yowie Central Podcast. Sarah, welcome back to the club.
Woo. Hey, Bob. Hey, Stephen. It's so great to be back and chatting with you. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has. It has been a while.
It's a first for me because I don't know what happened the last time you did. I think I was out of town, right?
Yeah, I think you went to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
To go visit the in-laws.
Mm-hmm.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah, and then I was on Sarah's show, and I forgot what you were doing. I think you were doing something. You were doing something else.
I was out of town. I felt like that's like the worst case scenario is that I'm out of town.
Or you were doing, I don't know, Dungeons and Dragons or something.
That's possibly that. Yeah.
Okay.
Possible.
Sarah, so I noticed that you have a website out now.
Yes. How exciting. It's only taken me 2 years, or maybe even 3 by the time I, started off with one graphic designer and website builder, and then decided that we weren't getting along very well, and he wasn't sort of able to transmit the vision that I had into reality. So I swapped to Cade Moya, actually, who's the host of Believe podcast.
Yes.
And he built me the most beautiful website.
It is.
And
I was just looking at it. It's beautiful.
How good is it? I'm so excited.
It's great.
He built it, but it then took me many, many hours of putting in my content, all the shows and the titles and the descriptions and then creating. And then I taught myself how to create AI illustrations to go with each episode. There was a big, sharp learning curve in a lot of it, but it's finally ready, and I'm so excited about it. It just looks so beautiful.
It is. It looks way better than ours. I'll just say that. so
hey, it cost me shitloads of money. So
okay.
Sorry, I probably.
No, you're fine.
No,
you can cuss on here. This is
curse away.
Yeah, Bigfoot Club is Spanish for cursing.
Yes.
Good.
Even though it's not a Spanish word.
So I know it's been probably maybe almost 2 years since you were on the show. What's going on in the Yowie Central Podcast world?
Oh, look, I've got people writing to me. Interviews are pouring in like crazy, and not just Yowie experiences, but people who are writing into me with Yowie experiences, but they've also got all these other paranormal, other cryptid, other kinds of, alien ET things. There's just, people aren't just writing to me about Yowie stuff anymore. They seem to be experiencing a whole gamut of invisible world things happening. So it's been crazy in a good way. Like I'm just keeping up with interviews, but I'm having to put, I might interview someone this week, but they don't get in a show for another couple of months because I've got so much material.
Right.
And that's fantastic. I'm really, really pleased that people are feeling really comfortable to write in and share their stories with me.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go on.
No, I was just going to say, do you have someone helping you go sort through all this stuff?
No. I do all the email or message communication backwards and forwards. I do all the interviews. I do all the editing. I've had one of my dear friends who's a psychic medium and sees ghosts all the time. She's been on the show a few times. Jazz, she became a really good friend since I interviewed her a few years ago, and she's been helping me amazingly with some of the IT stuff. Helped me learn how to create those AI illustrations, and she created a whole lot of the illustrations for my website. So I've got a bit of technical support from her, but other than that, it's pretty much me doing everything. So yeah, it's a big job, isn't it? You would know.
I mean
you've got.
I do. Yeah, I do a lot of that stuff too. But man, you're probably getting bombarded way more than I am, and that's very impressive. But then again, I was always impressed with you already, and man, I
Thanks,
thought
man.
I thought maybe you had someone in the background, like typing away or something. And
No. I would
got it wrong,
love to have.
Jamie.
Wouldn't it be great to have an editor? Like my favorite part of doing a show is talking to people and hearing their stories. My least favorite part is probably the social media side, but close second is the editing part of it. And especially some of my interviews go for 2.5 hours, and editing something like that takes
time
a long
consuming.
time. Yeah. But that's all good. As much as it would be really nice to have someone helping me out, I'm also a bit of a control freak. So when it comes to my work, so in a way, it's probably better that I'm doing it all by myself anyway.
I think that's probably one of the reasons why I gravitate to you so much, because number one, you're doing a Yowie show, okay, and then you started doing paranormal stuff on your show, and then you start talking about like mind speak, and then you talk about lizard people, cat people, shadows, lightning balls. And then I'm a big control freak too. Like everybody's asked me, hey, are you going to do it live? I go, no, because I'm such a control freak. I want to control everything, but I know eventually we're going to have to do it. But I think that's the reason why I gravitate to you so much. Cause I don't know. I think, I don't know. I just love you. I've always loved your show, and I've always loved you and how you approach things and how you want to help people. So
I'll right back at you, Bob. And I hear you with the lives and video. Like that's the next step. Lots of people ask me about video and when are you going to do shows with video? And I haven't up to this point. One, because that requires teaching myself how to edit video, and I'm a little bit tech challenged. I could do it, and I'm sure I will at some stage. It's just I don't have a lot of patience. So learning something like that involves a lot of swearing and a lot of pulling my hair out.
A lot of
and live shows as well. It's exactly right. Like I like to be able to edit before I publish, and live shows, there's nothing you can do about it if stuff goes out on air. So, but then I look at other people around me and other lovely people I've interviewed whose shows are up on YouTube, and they've got these beautiful listener communities who love interacting during that live show. So in a way, I can see why the audience loves the live show.
Yeah.
So we might end up having to bite the bullet, Bob, and start doing video things.
Well, Steven does, he's a video gamer, and he does a live Twitch. And like you do that, Steven, right? And that's and it's you don't edit anything, right?
No, not really. Obviously you got to be careful what you say on live.
Yeah.
I curse, but it's choose your curse words wisely.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a little scary, because you never know.
Yeah.
And you just never know who jumps in your live just to troll you too.
Well, that's the thing too, and I've noticed that everyone I know who does a live YouTube show has to have someone else there on admin to block the trolls who get on, because they do, and they get on horrible comments, and you don't want that kind of energy coming into your live show. So you really need a sidekick to be monitoring that stuff. And personally, it's because I can't be bothered with hair and makeup. And I've reached an age where I'm not going to get on camera without hair and makeup.
Right.
But as a woman, we worry about things more than you guys do about that. And I'm a bit low maintenance and lazy when it comes to having to do my hair and makeup.
Yeah, and we're super low maintenance.
I can see that too. I don't know. I just got a haircut recently, so
yeah, I have a haircut too, and
so you're handsome.
Yeah, so we I haven't been on Twitch lately, so they're going to be like, hey, you got a haircut. But yeah, no, I agree with the admin or a mod, because I do have a moderator on my stream, and he's pretty like, whenever I'm online, he's online. But he's got his own family, and I'm like, hey man, don't stress about it.
Yeah.
If need be, if there's going to be a day where I'm streaming and you can't join, I understand. But he's been making it to almost every stream, and he catches those stupid like trolls or whatever, like the fake profiles that say, hey, you want more viewers, go to this website, and it looks really suspicious.
Yeah.
So he blocks that. He's like, no, we don't need all that, fam. We don't need that.
I mean, also, Sarah, I know I kind of played with the idea of videotaping us before we go on a show. Like, for example, Steve and I, we kind of brainstorm a little bit before we go on a show, and we kind of talk, what are we going to talk about? Blah, blah, blah. What are we not going to say? And I thought about videotaping that, and then maybe put that apart like of a Patreon if people want to see like behind the scenes. How do we set up for a show? What goes into it, and then like maybe like do the editing part like a little bit later and add that onto there. I thought about doing that.
Yeah, it's like Michael Rosenbaum. Inside of you, it's not a live thing. He does an edited version, and if you want like the uncut version of it, you have to join his Patreon.
Yeah. I thought about that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That makes sense.
That's a good idea. I did think about doing a bloopers reel as well.
Those are the best.
Yeah, we have a ton of those.
Yeah, we do. That we do. And you never get tired of, I miss the old days where you watch a comedy movie and then like, oh, there's a gag reel or bloopers, and you're like, oh yeah, I want to watch that. I want to see.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah, those are the best.
Yeah, because like I started calling myself Bigfoot Bob, and I started calling Steven Skookum Steven. Mm-hmm. And so for the first month, I was always messing up, right, Steven? Yep. I was going, wait, I didn't say that right.
I was very anti-change of that because I love the flow of how we normally did it from practically since the beginning. Yeah. And I was like, man, you're going to mess up. You're going to mess up. I'm just telling you right now, it's a new flow. You're going to mess up. And what did he do? He messed up. Now, I might have, put that in the air. And, you made me mess up. But
yeah,
I was like, you're going to mess up, dude. That's what I told you.
I don't know. I think, us having different names, I think it just kind of just helps out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because everybody's always called me Bigfoot Bob for the longest time. And I'm not the original Bigfoot Bob, but I'm, Bigfoot Bob. So
you're not the original Bigfoot Bob?
No, it's Bob Gimlin.
Oh, Bob Gimlin, yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
He's the original Bigfoot Bob. So
was he ever actually called Bigfoot Bob?
I don't know, but in my mind and my heart, he was always Bigfoot Bob.
What did they call a Bigfoot? Like they called it in American mythology something, or was it American mythology? The booger, sugar booger, or what do they call it?
They have they say the South says it boogers. I don't use that term boogers.
I was about to say you can call him booger Bob, but I would just send the wrong message.
I don't want to do that. So
yeah.
Well, and I don't know. I'm not sure about over there, but boogers or boogies over here is not. So, so if you call Booger Bob, it doesn't,
Yeah, it doesn't mean the same thing, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. Or Boogie. Boogie Bob. Like the Boogie
Well, that's
Man.
where you get the Boogeyman too.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's connected to the boogers in the States, because you've got, kids are frightened of the Boogeyman.
Yeah.
Here. And I wonder if that's connected.
I don't know. I know there's a couple of people in different states that use that word booger, and I'm in the South, and I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people, and no one's ever used that word ever. So I don't know. I mean, maybe some people use it in Missouri or Alabama or something. I don't know. I just never heard that. So it's just kind of weird how some people say it. But anyway.
Yeah. Off the booger subject.
Sarah, I wanted to ask you, I was really intrigued about, I think one of your episodes, you had a gentleman that had some Yowie sightings, and then he had a cat person sighting.
Oh, yeah.
So you've had a previous person that had a cat person sighting as well, right?
Yes. And I'm just trying to think that. So the one that's coming into my mind is the one from Central Australia, and the man saw, the witness saw a 9 foot or so tall, long, lean, quite slim build, black, and it had a head in the shape of a cat, except it didn't have ears on the top of the head. And I've spoken to someone recently, and I'm actually going blank about the details now, but I did speak to another person recently who saw something similar.
Wow.
It's kind of weird, really, isn't it? I mean, look, there's so many different cryptids around. I've had people see goat man as well.
Yeah.
Goat man, deer man, cat man. But it's interesting, though it's cat, but looks like a cat, but without the pointy ears on the top of the head.
Yeah. Matt Knapp is a good friend of ours, and he does Bigfoot Crossroads. He's from Oklahoma, and he had a story, because I remember maybe a year ago he asked me, "Hey man, I just got a cat person story. Do you know anything about it?" I go, "Sarah Bignell's got one in Australia." Yeah. And I told him that. And so he had a story of, it was in Oklahoma. It was a gentleman, and I think I can't remember. I don't remember all the details. I can't remember if he had vegetables or if he had fish, but he had backed his truck up to his house, and he was doing something inside the house. The wife came out of the garage, and there was 3 cat people standing in the bed of his truck, going through stuff.
Oh, that's right. I remember you mentioned that to me at the time.
Yeah. And so she was going like, ha, 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 like that, slapping her hands. And they were looking at her like they were kind of perturbed, and they slowly got out of the back of the truck, and then slowly walked away.
Did they have ears?
Yes, they did.
Did they have tails?
That I can't remember. I got to ask Matt again about that. But that
would be some. That's weird.
Catastrophe.
Yeah. Catatonic.
So
that was happening right meow. We lost Bob.
So yeah,
almost passed out there.
So but yeah, I thought it was intriguing. I love that about your show, that you talk so much about different things, and
well, it's all connected, isn't it?
It is.
They're all, what all of these cryptids have in common is that they all seem to inhabit that invisible world around us, like that they can be visible, but they can also be invisible, disappear. They don't seem to be around us in physical 3D all the time. So all of those weird for us, weird creatures, weird cryptids, including Bigfoot, are all connected to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm. So I love the fact that you talk about, because I do this all the time too. I talk about frequencies, astral planes. Mm-hmm. I talk about vibrations, spectrums. And I think they're all kind of tied, because so every time we've interviewed someone who had a Bigfoot sighting, they usually have a paranormal sighting or a UFO sighting.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you run across that as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like everyone's got well, not everyone, but the majority of people who contact me have experiences with paranormal things, Yowie things, UFOs, or actual direct alien contact, or some other weird cryptid. People aren't just seeing Yowies out there; they're experiencing so many different things, and that's why I love talking about it all, because it's all happening. And if you once you start opening your mind to the fact that Yowies and Bigfoot are interdimensional beings, then all these other beings that I consider to also to be interdimensional beings are all inhabiting the same invisible realm. So I find I can't just talk about one part of it without all the rest of it opening up.
Yeah, because I think in the late 90s is when I started doing Bigfoot stuff, and I had Steven was with me. He was like 9 or 10, and I would take him to the field with me, and we would experience stuff. So when I first started with Texas Bigfoot Research Center, they were pounding into my head, this is flesh and blood, this is flesh and blood, this is flesh and blood. And then whenever I left that group, I started talking to different people. I started talking to Caddo, Native Americans, Choctaws, and they started talking to me about, like the land and, spirit trees and the vibrations of the land and stuff like that. So, and then I kind of just opened up, and I started experiencing more and more things. And there's some things that I've experienced I cannot explain. And then, so I love it because I equate Native Americans to Aborigines. So Aborigines people, they fascinate me. So I'm super fascinated. Anytime you have someone on there, I try to listen to it as much as possible. So,
I published one this week with 2 Aboriginal elders, Uncle and Auntie Luna, and that was such a fantastic chat. It's the second time they've been on the show, and they shared some amazing things. Like one of them, which I found really interesting, was you. In an old tribal situation with their family groups, you always have to check when you're hunting or chopping down trees which animal you're going to kill or which tree you're going to chop down, because some of those have spirits in them. So some animals are actually have a spirit in them, and some trees have spirits, and some of those spirits might have been put in there to keep them away. Like if they're an evil spirit, they might be banished and stuck inside a tree. And so if someone goes and cuts that tree down, you set free the evil spirit that was placed in that tree to keep everybody safe.
Wow, that's scary.
I've never thought of that.
Yeah, I haven't thought of that either.
Yeah, so you can't just go into the forest and chop down any old tree. You have to be really careful.
Is that where the and I'm not trying to be funny. Is that where the expression "the root of all evil" comes from?
Maybe.
Wow.
I was chatting to someone from New Zealand, and he was telling me about his father, I believe, was like a keeper of knowledge and a wise man in the tribe. And I haven't got all the details correct in my mind, but I do remember that someone was being troubled by an evil spirit. They managed to banish this spirit and put it in an old coin. And what they did with that coin is throw it into the ocean with that spirit in the coin trapped in there. So it's now lost in the ocean, and no one's ever going to find that coin. It's unlikely, and set that spirit free. But the whole concept of imprisoning a spirit, an evil spirit, in a physical object to trap it so it doesn't hurt others, was a common thread there.
Wow.
Yeah. I just hope no one treasure hunts in the ocean and they find it.
I hope they threw it deep enough so it doesn't get washed back up on the shore.
Or yeah. There's that. That's creepy.
Yeah, it is. What I'm trying to think, what story? Because I know you've got thousands of stories. You've interviewed thousands of people, and you've done a lot of episodes. What story recently or in the past has stuck out more than any other story to you?
Oh, well, I can think of a couple straight away. I published a story last week, an interview. It was a long one. It was a 2.5-hour interview. It was amazing. One of the most riveting stories I've heard. And that's interviewing so many people over, 6+ years. This man was, he'd already seen one Yowie when he was about 15. When he was 16, he was camping on a river out in the bush with his father and a friend of the father's and some other boys of the same age. They're riding their trail bikes, motorbikes around the forest, and he's kind of separated from the others. He's about 150 meters ahead, and out of the corner of his eye, he sees what he thinks is a person looking out over the forest. It was up on a hill and in a clearing, and he turns to look back at his friends and turns back, and then this person's disappeared. And then all of a sudden, out of the corner of his eye, something very large and black moves quickly across the road and disappears into the bush. And so him being a young fella, he's on a motorbike, he decides he's going to chase it. Starts riding off and then realises that there's not enough trail there, and the undergrowth is too thick for him to move through on his motorbike, and stops the bike. And then all of a sudden he starts feeling like he's in danger. That I just started to feel like I was terrified, and I couldn't explain why. I just thought, I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here now. So he manages to turn around, get out of there, very uneasy feeling, which is something that's very common in Bigfoot reports, is that feeling of uneasiness and dread. A little bit later on, he's back at the campsite with his friends. The father and the other adult are not there. They've gone into town for a few hours, and so the boys are just at the campsite playing loud music. They were playing AC/DC really, really loud, like way too loud, blasting it from the car stereo, being a little bit obnoxious as teenagers can be. And they hear a big thump, and like a big log has been thrown at one of the small little huts that were there. There were like half a dozen small huts there that people have built there for camping and hunting and fishing. And this is a big log, and it was a big bang, and they couldn't work out what had done that. He then turns around and sees some distance away, like 250 to 300 meters, he sees 3 Yowies, a big one, a medium-sized one, and a small one. And they were all walking. They didn't look in his direction. They were walking away from him and disappeared behind a tree. He observed something, and this is what I found. One of the things I found really interesting was their colour. Their hair was like a black on the feet, dark grey, and then fading up to a lighter grey all the way up. So they weren't red or brown, which is the most common colour that's reported, is a reddy brown or an orange. These were grey, but with a graduating a colour gradation from the feet up to the heads, which is exactly like most of the big. There's a particular species of eucalyptus tree all around that area they're called red gums. The timber is red on the inside, but on the outside they're dark grey in the bottom and they fade up to a lighter grey. So these Yowies were exactly the same colour as the trees, which was really interesting. I hadn't heard anybody describe that before. The beings disappear behind the tree, and he's like, oh my God, that's the same thing as I saw a year ago. Then they come back to, they're at the campsite, and they realise that they've got to, then they get a rifle out that has a scope to see. And so they're looking through the scope to see if they can see these three beings again. And they can see one just peeking out from behind a tree, but they couldn't see any more than that. And then it's getting dark. And then they realize they've got to collect firewood, but it's getting dark really quickly. And they've been playing music for so long, the car battery has run out. And they can't get the car lights to work or the spotlight to work. So they're in the dark. It's almost pitch black, and they haven't collected any firewood. So they quickly start doing that. His dog, who was out there with him, all of a sudden turns around and bolts back inside the little hut. She's shaking, her tail's between her legs. She's wetting, she's urinating, like she's terrified of something. He's starting to feel quite uneasy, and he goes out there again. He's collecting firewood, and he starts smelling something dead, like something really, really putrid, like terrible, terrible smell, and that wasn't there before. And he's like, that's really strange. I couldn't smell this before, but all of a sudden there's something dead there. Then on next trip out to get more wood, it's all feeling around in the dark. He's like, he can see the fire, but the fire's not big enough to be putting off any light yet. The next thing he sees a big black shape that he can make out in the little bit of firelight that's reaching that point. He can make a huge black shape next to a tree, and he's starting to get really, really nervous. And then he hears this loud exhale, like he said it was like a horse, but even bigger, that like the hugest lungs, something exhaled and he just went, oh my God, there's something that it's one of those creatures that I saw. Oh my God. He turns around to run, and something picks up his back foot and launches him up in the air. So he flies up in the air and then lands face down on the ground. That his armful of sticks have gone flying everywhere, and he's winded. He can't move. And then all of a sudden he feels and hears something huge sniff the back of his neck, and it's so close to him he can feel the hair on the back of his neck move with the intake of the breath of the sniff. And he's like, oh my God, this is going to eat me. It's going to eat me. It's going to bite my head off. He panics, wets his pants in panic, in fear.
Mm-hmm.
Now manages to get up and kind of running while crawling as fast as he can, and then manages to get to his feet and runs back into the hut and yelling at the other boys, get inside, there's a monster out there. And they're going, what? Something, then they hear a large log smash the back of the hut, and then there's sticks being thrown on the roof of the hut, and all of them were absolutely terrified. The two adults arrive home, and then all of a sudden all the activity stops. Everything stopped, all the noise, everything. And they left them alone. But he didn't say anything to his father or the other adult for many years after that. But the idea of being out in the dark and knowing that there's some kind of, in his mind, some kind of an enormous monster that's so close he can feel it, not only hear it, but feel it sniffing the back of his neck.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Amazing.
That's pretty intriguing, because it kind of the way I'm thinking about this when I hear you tell this story, it sounds like they were extremely interested in these young people, maybe their energy, and like it's sniffing them. Like, I've never heard of that, but it's like intriguing. Like, they're intrigued, right? And then like when they figure out what they are, then they're throwing rocks and logs at their hut, like to get them, like to get them out or something.
Yeah. I think they were really annoyed with the music.
Yeah,
and the trail bikes, like those little motorbikes, are really noisy. He suspects now that first when he saw the black shape go across the road and disappear into the bush that he chased after, he suspects now that that was maybe like one of the children, one of the smaller yowies.
Mm-hmm.
And when he starts chasing after it, then he gets hit by that feeling of, oh my God, I'm in danger. I've got to get out of here. Whether it's infrasound or not sure. But he suspects now that that was perhaps one of the young ones that he was chasing, and that the adult was what he thought was a large person that he caught out of the corner of his eye just before he saw the black shape cross the road. He thinks that's like a parent and a young one, that he's chasing the young one, and the parents come to scare him away. And then they're playing music all afternoon. They're being really loud, really disrespectful, obnoxious, as teenagers can be sometimes. And they came to maybe scare the crap out of them and get them to leave.
Yeah.
I think that's what I got the impression of, because if you see, like, if you're camping anywhere, you see a bear cub, there's warning signs right there.
Yeah.
Like there's the mama or the pop is around somewhere. Doesn't matter how cute it is, leave it alone. So yeah, him chasing after it might have been the young one, and that's whenever it had to use its infrasound to be like, get away. And then it pissed it off so much that it followed them, because like, no, these kids are up to no good. Let's see what they're all about. And they didn't like the music. The thing of grabbing the leg, leg behind him and then launching him, that is terrifying.
It is terrifying.
Because how much did he weigh?
Oh, yeah, he's a 16-year-old teenage boy and a kid who's been out hunting in the bush a lot. So he was probably fairly muscular and solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say about what, like 160, 150 maybe?
Maybe.
To launch that? Oof.
Oh, yeah. And I could count on one hand the amount of people I know who've been physically touched.
Yep.
Wow.
Yowie. Like, very rarely happens.
Yeah, I don't get that much in East Texas. I got maybe 4 or 5 stories in East Texas of physical touch.
Physical touch, yeah, same. Like I can think of a few, but not many. And look, and I really wanted to hurt him, because it could have just snapped him like a toothpick, really. But just grabbing his back foot and launching him up so he flies in the air and lands on his face. And then, but can you imagine you lying there and you're winded, you can't breathe, you can't move, and then something enormous is sniffing the back of your neck. Like, he thought it was just sniffing him to see whether it wanted to eat him or not.
Yeah.
What he was about to be eaten by a monster. It was like so terrifying.
I bet it was like trying to put in the category, it's his smell, because this is the type of smell I'm going to get when they play loud music or use, loud machinery with bikes. This is how they smell. That's what I was thinking whenever you told that story. So
yeah. And I thought about that bad smell too. Like, from what I understand, it seems to be, they don't smell like that all the time.
An alpha?
It's possibly a smell that can be emitted at will as a defensive mechanism. It makes people feel so sick and that they want to get away from it, so they leave.
Right.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, Robert, whenever you were out and you've smelled, I have not smelled anything.
I've smelled that smell.
Is that like a warning sign? Like, because you used to always tell me every time when we go out, if they're there, they already know that we're here.
Right. And
so to get that scent, is that like a warning sign? Like they already feel threatened?
Sarah, my experiences, every time I've ran across that smell, we were in an area that possibly was their fooding or their hunting area, or maybe like a river that they could be like have fish or clams or whatever. So anytime I ran into something like that and I had that smell, that's usually what I ran into. And so I always equated it to an alpha male telling us, okay, you're not wanted here. And then it was followed by, grunts or sniffs, or then, it would start throwing rocks at us.
Yeah. And that's what was happening in this situation,
Mm-hmm.
where they threw a log, a big log,
Mm-hmm.
then actually a part of that story, because there were so many details in it, there was another big log that landed in the river as well, launched from somewhere by someone. The smell, then the rocks and the sticks being thrown at the roof afterwards, like it all sounded like the Yowies in question were not happy with them being there and wanted them to leave.
Yeah, I was also intrigued about the color of them being like the color of the gray of the tree.
Yes, how amazing was that? Uniform color, but actually darker at the feet and lighter at the head to match the trees.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think they were, not that they could do that color, but do you think they could use that like to hide around a tree or
Yeah, I was going to say camouflage.
camouflage?
It's like they know.
Yeah. Well, whether they're actually that color or whether they're able to give themselves the appearance of having that color, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but I was, I was thinking it.
I was thinking like they actually collected it and then they put it on their back or had,
Maybe, I don't know.
it's possible their hair, if their hair is thick enough.
Sarah, you're probably the only other person that I've heard the talk. I'm not sure there's other people, but you're probably the only, because I listen to you a lot. But anyway, so you're probably the other person that I know that talk about infrasound.
Mm-hmm.
And does Australia? Do you guys have like electrical right of ways and gas right of ways through like counties or through the woods?
What do you mean by electrical? As in electrical line?
Like power lines going through like the woods or something like that.
Yeah, we've got definite power lines that go through. In fact, that was one of the other cases I was going to mention, was that man who was fixing the power lines that went across a mountain range where he's the other family group.
Okay. Was that the one with the helicopter? Was that the guy with the helicopter? No.
Oh, yeah. So when he was a younger man, when he was in his 20s, he was an electricity linesman and was fixing the power in a mountain region down here in Victoria after a storm. And it's early in the morning. He's up on the electricity structure, the pole. Well, I don't think it was a single pole. It's probably a larger structure, but he's up there, and he can see coming across a mountain ridge near him, making their way towards him, were 3 huge yowies. He estimated them to be like 9-10 foot tall, the big one.
Golly.
The father, so he reckons it was a family group. There were 3 of them. The big alpha was kind of physically like V-shaped, massive shoulders, narrower hips. The next shorter one down was what he assumed to be a female. She was more barrel-shaped and not quite so V-shaped, chunky and strong still, but perhaps more feminine looking. He could see breasts too. And then there was a younger one who looked like a mini copy of the father, the alpha. So he sees them just casually making their way along the tree line. I'm not, making their way from A to B, not really paying. They didn't actually see him until a little bit later. After he saw them, he thought, maybe I should get out of here, because they're coming towards, going across a mountain ridge and going down into a valley and then coming up towards him. So he gets down from there. While he's still up there, they go down into a valley and come up onto another mountain ridge, and the alpha he lifts his nose up into the air and starts sniffing around.
That's
he
awesome.
thought, okay, they can smell me. They can smell me.
Yeah, I was going to say he was probably so high up that he was not downwind of them, And then when he got
Yeah.
onto the mountain range, he's a little bit higher. And I think that's amazing. I love that that explanation or that sighting of the male with his nose in the air. That's
Yeah. And but then they go down into another valley and come up. They're coming up onto another mountain ridge, and he quickly gets down then because he's going to run away. And then he turns around and realizes that the alpha is not that far away, standing there staring at him. And he's initially like was, and then he got hit by a wave of emotion that he said all of a sudden, I got hit by a feeling of, like they were saying to me, you're safe, be calm, don't worry, you're safe. And he wasn't frightened anymore.
That's a different way of infrasound.
yeah.
So there's fear, and then there's, hey, calm down.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah, well,
I'm a big celebrity around here.
he was telling him, tranquilo.
Yeah, calm down. Everything's gonna be okay.
yeah.
That's
people-
Well,
interesting.
I was kind of getting at, Sarah, is that Steven and I, we've talked to, we've interviewed people who've been on power lines in Texas and gas right-of-ways. And it's always been the opposite of that story. It's always been like they've been like bombarded with fear and like overwhelming fear than normal. And so Steven and I had the theory of that Bigfoots were weaponizing electrical right-of-ways. Like they would do the infrasound and it would be like, like 10 plus, and it would hit people with it. Cause I've interviewed this one guy, he was a hunter, and he's normally like really careful about where he shoots. Right. And when he saw this Bigfoot on this electrical right away, he was running and he was putting the gun, over his shoulder and just firing. Cause he didn't want this Bigfoot to chase him anymore. So, and that was like, that was uncharacteristic of him to do that. And he was just frightened out of his mind. So Steve and I we have that theory. I don't think anybody else is doing it, that the Bigfoots weaponize electrical and gas right-of-ways. Like they use it as like a charge, right, Steven?
Like they charge up there, and that's their way of, and whenever they walk away from it, it surrounds them, and then they can utilize it, omit it when they can to keep people away, or a predator or anything like that. Not that anyone's hunting Bigfoot, but
Right.
if they feel threatened, they omit it, and that's where we get that sensation or that feeling, or
Right.
what they perceived as fear.
I mean,
or in this case, that calm, like this, don't worry.
I've experienced that wave of emotion maybe 3 or 4 times now.
Really?
And it's, for me though, it's been like overwhelming, loving feeling.
Wow.
Like we love you, like this, just hit with. So one of the times, the first time, I was driving out the gate of my farm, and I noticed across the road, like on this dirt road, we're in the middle of nowhere. There's half a kangaroo, the bottom half of a kangaroo. The head and the arms were missing. There was, and nowhere to be found. There's no predator in the Australian bush that could do that to a kangaroo. Not one of this size anyway. And it didn't, it was just there. There was a small pool of blood there, but not really that large a pool of blood. It was really weird. So I took photos of it and sent it to my little team of friends who they're all psychic mediums. And one of them said, I'm getting the feeling that's a thank you gift to you, Sarah, from the Yowies. And because you've been talking about them in a really positive way, and you've been trying to, convey that they're not all monsters, and they love that, and they're grateful. And one of them's left you a gift, and I'm like, oh, cool, all right. And he said, why don't you just sit quietly and say thank you to whoever left this gift and see what happens. So I did that, and all of a sudden into my mind came this image of a huge Yowie ripping, twisting this head off the kangaroo. And I said, thank you so much for the gift. And into my mind came the words, no, thank you. And then something hit me like a rush of emotion that started at my toes and rushed up through my body. And it like physically could feel it, sort of orgasmic, but not in a sexual way. That's the only way I can sort of convey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like something hit me physically. And all I felt was gratitude and love from that. It was amazing. Like that, it blew me away. It left me like crying because it was just so amazing. And then the same thing happened last year. I was away speaking at a conference, speaking about Yowies at a conference, and staying in an apartment overlooking the beach with one of my friends who's psychic and who communicates with them with mind speak all the time. And we're sitting there having a beer and smoking a doobie and just relaxed. And then all of a sudden, my friend said, your Yowie friend, the one who's been communicating with you, is right here. He's right here, is sitting on the couch over there in the corner. I can see him, and I couldn't see anything, but I could feel him there. I could feel the energy. And I was telling him how grateful I was that he was in my life. It's that mind speak communication that I've been having with him has completely changed for the better, and how much I loved him. And he hit me with one of those waves as well. All of a sudden, it was like bam, and I started choking up. Tears started coming out of my eyes, but happy tears. Mm-hmm. And then this body rush and this time it was just love. It was this loving feeling washed over me. So it's so weird. I'm so glad that I've experienced the positive side of that. If I was getting hit like that, but it's fear and dread, then that would be so deeply frightening, profoundly terrifying experience if it's anything like the positive feelings. But whether that's infrasound, whether that's caused by some kind of sound that they're emitting that's low frequency that your ears can't pick up, but that your inner ear and your organs are vibrating to, or it's something else, whether that's harnessing magnetic energy. I don't know how they do it, but it's real. It's a real thing. Absolutely.
When you got bombarded with that, and you were somewhere else, right, doing this conference, right?
Yeah.
How far would you say this region where this one where you're communicating with and that where that conference was?
Oh, like hundreds and hundreds of kilometers from where this was in that conference. I was in Bundaberg. I was down on the beach near Bundaberg, which is kind of halfway up. It's in Queensland. Uh-huh. And this particular Yowie that was there, he generally lives in the southeastern Queensland. So it's hundreds of kilometers away from where he was physically.
That is a ton of power to channel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. But I don't know, because I think all you need to do is think about it and it works. Because that's the way the universe works. That's the way the that's the way the mind speak works.
Right.
All I do is think about him, and he's right there in my mind. I can see him. He pops into my mind. Now, he's popped in now because I'm talking about.
Right. Let me ask this question, and if you don't want to say it, you don't have to. Does he have a name?
He does have a name. I don't share his name publicly, but I gave him a nickname though, and that's Donnie Dooligal. Dooligal is an Aboriginal word for Yowie.
Okay.
I nicknamed him Donnie.
Okay.
There
was I don't think whenever I was researching in the early 2000s. We had a psychic that was there. I can't use her name because I don't have permission to do it. But there was a psychic there, and she would sit in a certain part of the woods where she felt it was channeling. And I think at that time I was not developed like I am now. I was really close-minded, and she was telling me that the Bigfoot that was there he was the leader of the family. I've never said this. I don't even think I've even told Steven this. Mm-mm. So she was telling me that this one Bigfoot was passing through this part of Oklahoma when I was in Oklahoma. And she said that he called me the brown man because I was the only Hispanic person, a part of this group that was researching in this area. So she was telling, like, she had names, he had names for the other guys, but he called me the brown man.
Oh, that's nice.
I know. And it was like, I thought it was like, I would go to the woods, Sarah, and I've never told you that, right, Steven? Mm-mm. And like, I would go to the woods and I would leave things in the woods. I would cause the guy that was there, he was growing corn, squash, watermelon. So I would take, pieces of corn, pieces of squash, and I would leave it in crooks of trees. And so I would go back a day later and I would be way in the woods. Like, I wouldn't tell anybody where I was going. I'd go in there and he would leave me a shiny rock. He would leave me chamomile. He'd leave me a dead bird. And he would leave me, I don't know, like seeds or something or roots. He would put them right where I would put the food. So he would trade with me. So
yes. They would love you because you're such a lovely, kind-hearted man anyway. So I reckon they'd really like you.
Yeah. I mean, there was a couple of times that we got yelled at, I think because we were in their food source. We were messing up their food source. And so they were growling at us, but I never felt threatened. I never felt like, my life was in danger, but anyway.
That's good. Especially whenever I was around.
Yeah.
Because if you said that and then you're like, you didn't tell me that, I would have been like, what?
Yeah. I don't think I haven't told anybody that. It was something I just kind of kept to myself. Because at that time back then, Sarah, if you said stuff like that in 2005, people thought you were kooky and they didn't want anything to do with you. So I didn't really say anything about that stuff back then. But anyway,
kooky and spooky.
That's what Sarah says.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I love the fact that you're opening up to them and you're protecting him, and I love that.
Yep.
So now I understand why they call you the Yowie Whisperer.
Oh, that was I don't think anybody calls me the Yowie Whisperer.
Oh, okay.
That was just Gary on that show. She calls me the Yowie Whisperer.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to call you that too. So,
because I don't feel worthy of that title is probably why it makes me feel it's a compliment. It's very flattering, but I don't feel worthy.
I think this job that you're doing, and I call it a job, is spreading the word and not villainizing these Yowies, which I think you're doing a great job, and you wanna educate people on these Yowies, and they're not monsters. Mm-mm. There's probably like an asshole Yowie every now and then, but they're not all monsters.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. Very protective of
they're people.
Yeah.
Sorry, Stephen, go on.
No, I was just gonna say they're very protective of their own, and it's no different from us human beings. We're very protective of our family or who we love. Mm-hmm. So it's really, really not so different at all on it.
No. And they want to have families. They're loving. Mm-hmm. They have a sense of humor. They're so kind to us, even though we've made their lives really difficult and we've hunted them, we've shot at them historically all over the world. They still have love in their hearts for us, and they still want to help us. They still want to teach us. So they're such that. They've made me, like in 3 years of contact with them, they've made me a better person. They've made me want to step up and be a better person too. Mm-hmm. They're not monsters. And as you said, one of them might have a bad day and you might get some aggressive behavior because he's had a bad day, or some of them are still quite traumatized because they've been shot at, because they've lost a family member due to human activity, or they've lost their traditional homeland because people have moved in and chopped down the forest and put houses up there. And, you know, that they're healing and they've got trauma as well. And so if you get, you will get the odd one who's not a happy camper. But the vast majority, from what I understand, and definitely in my personal experience, I've only ever come into contact with really loving, positive Yowies.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I heard you talk on one of your, I can't remember what show it was, but you're talking about dogmen.
Yeah.
Because we were talking to Vic Cundiff last week.
Right.
Dogmen encounters, and I was asking him. I said because I know he interviewed John Kershaw. So I was asking him. I said, "Are there a lot of?" I go, "There's not a lot of dogmen incidents in Australia," and he told me, he goes, "No, there's quite a few." But I know, because I've talked to John and I've heard you say this, there's not a lot of Aborigines story or lore that talk about dogmen, right?
This is actually something that there are stories, not as common perhaps as in your country, but the Aboriginal elders that I was talking to who are in the show that I've just put out last night, they confirmed that there are dogman stories in their lore. They call them dingo man.
Dingo. Okay.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That does make sense.
And there are definitely dingo man stories. So, the people, but they're not, I guess, not quite as widespread. Those stories don't seem to be quite as well known or widespread, but they're definitely there. And people have seen them here.
Yeah.
But one of the things perhaps that people get confused is when I was talking to Sunbow True Brother, he shared with me that, and this is something that the elder Sasquatch Kamu shared with him, that some of the Sasquatch were seeded here using DNA from an ancient, now extinct lemur. And if you look at the lemurs that exist today, they've got a cute little snout, a little muzzle. So some Sasquatch have what looks like a muzzle as well, but they're not canine or canid related. They're Sasquatch. They've just got a different shaped face. So some of the dogman beings that people see out there, and not just in Australia, but all over the world, and Canada and United States and Europe, some of them are Sasquatch or hairy man. They're not dogman. I thought which was really interesting. But obviously there are dogman beings out there for sure.
Yeah. I think John Kershaw has one of the better pictures I've ever seen of a dogman.
Such a good picture. Well, there were 3 pictures that he snapped over his shoulder when he was running. Yeah, amazing pictures. Really, really good pictures.
It is. They are good. Go ahead.
I had one here on the farm. I didn't see it, but it connected with me Mindspeak. And it wasn't unfriendly. Like it was really friendly, and I could see it. I could see his eyes and the pointy ears in my mind. I kept getting flashes of this face in my mind. And I actually, when that was happening, and my dog was barking and growling, but not really, really upset, but just letting me know that there was something there that he wasn't comfortable with and he was a bit uneasy. I contacted my friends about it, and in my mind at the same time, I didn't say anything, but in my mind, the words dogman kept coming through my mind. because I get yowies here on the farm sometimes, and I got the feeling that this wasn't a yowie out there. And I contacted my friends, and one of them in particular said, "Oh yeah, I think you've got a dog man there." And I said, "Well, what does he want?" And the word came through, protection. And I went, "Oh, that's nice. He's come down to protect me. But if he's out there protecting me, what else is out there?"
Yeah.
Or maybe he needs protection.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, maybe he needs to be protected, and I'm the bodyguard.
Yeah, maybe there was a yowie that was uneasy with him, and he knows that you can speak to them.
Yeah,
and maybe,
I was thinking that.
Yeah, and he was like, "Hey, I'm just I'm just a dingo here. I'm trying to live my dingo life. So, can you let your yowie friend?"
I was going to ask you, Sarah. Do you get any stories with dogmen and yowies together?
I haven't had many. I remember one lady. This was a secondhand report. I didn't speak to the man who saw this, but I interviewed a lady whose brother told her that he had seen running along a road at night. It was a yowie running. Oh no, that wasn't Dogman. That was a yowie and a black panther. It was a yowie and a black panther.
Oh,
really?
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, but it wasn't a Dogman. Sorry, my memory's playing tricks on me.
It's okay.
No, I can't think of any sightings that involved both at the same time. Have you?
No, I haven't. I've only gotten.
Vic said that there's some that are friendly. They are aware of each other's presence, and it's more like, hey, this is my side, this is your side. Stay over there. I'm over here.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stories on that. I think the only person I've talked to, and I know you've talked to them as well, is Texas Front Porch.
Oh yeah,
he had a dogman here in Texas, and he doesn't live that far from me. He had a dogman sighting, and I don't get a lot of dog. And even if I do, which I know you probably get this a lot, I get a lot of people reaching out to me. They want to tell like a story, but when I call them or try to get them on the phone, they like ghost me sometimes.
Oh yeah, I do get that regularly. I had someone do that to me this week and last week.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Jesus.
So I've gotten a couple of people that talked about dogman to me, and then I was interested in talking to them, and then they ghost me, and I say, okay, well, because I tell them, I said, I want to talk to you, regardless whether you come on the show or not. I still want to talk to you. I want to hear your story. I want to try to help you if you need help. So I try to do that, but I haven't got a lot of that stuff, but I wanted to ask you another question, like before we get off, was because I don't know enough about this, and I should, but I don't. But do you think like the summer solstice has anything to do with all the paranormal or like Bigfoot sightings or any kind of cryptids in Australia?
Possibly, but I don't know enough about the solstices.
Okay.
To be able to comment on it, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know enough to be able to comment.
Got it.
Do you find that over there?
No, I mean, because the only time I hear it is like in Australia, and I've always been interested in it, but I don't know enough about it. So I was trying to find people that talk about it, but it's kind of, slim to none, but
it's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know. I like a lot of stuff, but
it reminds me of if it's like in the same ballpark as ley lines.
Yes.
Too. So, and I think that's fascinating.
Yeah.
The ley lines.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. But in the solstice, you probably need to talk to someone who's maybe a pagan or a witch or someone who's
right. Okay.
Thor.
His belief system holds the solstices and the equinox and those days as sacred days. Who knows more about the energy that flows in those days, and knows, someone along those lines.
For some reason, I thought that was like an Aborigines clever man type of deal. I probably read that wrong somewhere or heard it wrong.
I mean, I know it's an important it's an important date. I know other people who hold events on the solstice, the summer solstice. It is an important date energetically. I just don't know enough about it to be able to give anything interesting.
No, that's fine. I just throw a bunch of questions at you. I just wanted to...
And I had a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you think Yowies, or I would say, just all the Bigfoot in general, but particularly Yowies, do you think they are aware of an evil spirit that's banished to a tree?
Yeah, for sure. I would be aware of that.
Yeah, because it makes me wonder. They themselves are an entity themselves. I like to think of them that way because they're just so they have powers way beyond us,
right?
But they're still like animalistic in a way. They can sense, like, if they go to a tree or a particular tree that they're just uneasy with. They're like, nope, not. That's just bad vibes all around. I'm not going to go near it. And it makes me wonder if they even see it or even like do more than just feeling. Like they hear it, they see it, and they're like, nope, don't like it. I'm walking away.
Yeah, I reckon. I don't know whether they can hear or see it, but they were certainly, and I can't speak for them, but I'm pretty sure, I'd bet my bottom dollar that they would know that there's an evil spirit in that.
Yeah, that's tree. Like beyond them. Like it, and it kind of like, it's terrifying too, because, I don't know if they're open like we are, like, to possession, and you don't know if that evil spirit can possess them.
Well, like attachments. I know one of my friends in my little group is a shaman, and one of the things that he does regularly is remove attachments from people, and he also communicates very regularly with my Yowie and a handful of others, and they've told him that Yowies can have attachments as well.
Wow.
Yeah, negative attachments. So yeah, they would be able to be possessed, which is a scary thought. Really,
it is.
Isn't it?
So do you think it's like the Yowies, their sighting reports that they have red eyes or something, or that are possibly possessed?
Maybe, I don't know. That's a good point. I've heard an Aboriginal Australian elder told me be careful of the ones with the red eyes. They're the dangerous ones.
Right.
I don't know whether that's. But I've heard other people say that their eyes can change colour from red to green. So I don't know if they're red when they're angry, or if they're possessed and they have an evil spirit inside. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But I have heard the ones with the red eyes are the bad ones. But whether that's true or not, I don't know.
When's the last time you talked to Gary Lynn?
I talk to Gary really regularly. We message backwards and forwards. I think we messaged backwards and forwards last weekend on the phone a few weeks ago, I think. But
I love him so much.
Yeah.
I love Gary. He's awesome. He's one of my favorite people.
We always talk about music and stuff and whatever. Whatever I post anything of a band that came out in like 2000 or something, he's like, what do you know about this band? I'm like, I grew up listening to this. He goes, that's my favorite album. Like, and then we go off of that, talking about Seven Dust.
Yeah. Have you talked to Attila at all, or do you?
No, we're kind of. I've interviewed Attila, but we sort of not on a friend basis where we've kept in touch. I love his work. I love the documentaries that he's made.
Mm-hmm. I was
he's a talented filmmaker, and I really liked listening to what he has to say. But we're not. We don't have that kind of messenger connection. We're sending each other messages or anything.
I haven't either. I haven't talked to him in a while. But when we interviewed him, I was so scared. I don't know why.
Didn't we interview him twice?
No, one time.
One time,
and I was terrified.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I was hyped up, ready. Yeah, I watched like 3 of his documentaries, and I was ready. And then Robert's like, "I'm nervous." I go, "Don't do that, because I'm gonna get nervous too. Don't do that." And then sure, we were like nervous like the first couple minutes. And
yeah,
then it was just a conversation.
I told him, I go, I'm super nervous talking to you. He goes, why, mate? I'm just a regular guy.
So nice. He's so nice.
That was a good impression.
Yeah, I tried to interview what's his name, Cade.
Hey, yeah.
And
Cade
he's too busy. That guy is just too busy to. I've tried it several times to reach out to him. I go, no, he's just too busy. And
yeah. He's got a lot on. I don't know how he manages to keep it all. Got a lot on.
So
Gary, we got to get Gary back on.
Yeah.
Paul Wallace, who has the Fifth Kind TV, amazing man, like so smart and so learned, like really, really clever. And I just feel so, I feel so dumb next to him. So I know I'm not, but when you're interviewing someone, who's really smart, is very clever, very learned, very educated, and very articulate, you start feeling a bit inferior, don't you? And he was lovely too. He's a lovely man, very easy to talk to once you get going. But I was very intimidated. But
I think that's what it is.
That's all in our own heads, really.
Yeah, I think so. And I think we interviewed Gianno Cromley.
Yep.
He's an author for American Mythology. Very great book. It's a great book. Mm-hmm. I loved it so much. And I was pretty scared talking to him too, because I loved his work. I said, I just want you to know I'm really nervous. He goes, don't be nervous. I go,
I'm just a regular guy.
So
we get that so many times.
Yeah, we get it so many times where
and then we do the same thing too. If someone was because I would feel weirded out if someone said, oh man, I'm just nervous talking to one of the hosts from Bigfoot Club.
Yeah.
I am just a regular dude.
Sarah, I've ran into people like at a restaurant of all places, and this one lady walked up to me and she goes, you're Robert Dominguez. And I go, yeah. And she goes, you're with Bigfoot Club. And I go, yeah, I am. And she goes, hey, will you come over here and take a picture with me and my mom? I go, yeah, sure. So I went over there. I went over to their table, and somebody came up and took a picture. I was hugging them, and the coworkers that I was with, they say, who's that? I go, they're Bigfoot Club fans.
That's great. I had somebody come up to me in a supermarket once.
Uh-huh.
Are you Sarah from Yowie Central? Oh, yes. It's a strange feeling.
It is.
And I'm so just normal and down to earth, and I don't have a big ego, so I always feel really uncomfortable when people get nervous around me, because like, oh dude, just chill. It's just looking at me, it's just like sitting around talking to your best mate. It is.
Now, if someone came up to me and said, "Hey, you're Skookum Steven," I'd be like, "Hey, listen to Bigfoot Club." There's no other way I would go off of that. Like, it's a nickname, and I ran with it, and I'm okay with it. But no one calls me that off podcast.
Yeah.
Like, especially my kids. Well, Ricardo has done it once. You're Skookum Steve. Like,
well, that's why when Carrie called me the Yowie Whisperer when I spoke to her in that show recently, I would never call myself that, because I was flattered that she called me that, but I would never call myself that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm, I've told you this a bunch of times. I'm just a huge fan of you and your work, and I love your show. I think I tried to mimic some of the stuff that you do, and you inspire me. I'll just say that.
Oh, thank you. That's really lovely.
Another question I had: did you change your theme music?
Yeah, the recent episode.
Just the one I did yesterday.
Okay.
Somebody in my group created a Yowie song, and shared it in the group, and I thought it was really nice. So I thought I'm just going to play a little bit of it for this week, but I haven't changed the music.
Okay. Because I was like, I was getting worried. I go, no, don't change.
Oh, look, and some people think you should never change your theme song.
Yeah.
And other people say, well, you can, change things up, and it's nice having a fresh change. And so, no, I I love my theme song. It is American though, and it's not Australian. So
Right.
It would be kind of cool to have a really cool Yowie Australian song. But I haven't found that yet. I loved playing the one that I played in the show that I just put out.
Yeah, it was good.
It's a really nice song. But it's different when you've like the one I'm using. I fell in love with the Parry Grip song that was so much that I use.
Right.
Fell in love with that when I first started doing the show, and it kind of hasn't changed. I've had people write to me and say, that theme song, when I've recommended your podcast to other people, I've told them just ignore the theme song. The show's actually serious. So they were saying that the theme song made my show sound like not serious. And
I don't get that. I don't get that when I
Whatever.
listen to it.
Look, it's theme songs. Everyone's so individual.
Yeah.
Music taste is subjective. You're never going to keep everybody happy anyway.
Right.
So
we get that all the time.
Yeah.
On our Bigfoot Club page. I get it all the time. Whenever we deviate from like Bigfoot stuff, I get comments. a lot of comments.
Bigfoot show doesn't talk about Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot show. You need to talk about Bigfoot. You don't need to be talking about the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
I get those as well. Some people saying, why are you putting this stuff on? I only like the Yowie ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I put in the Yowie ones, but I'm fascinated by all the other stuff that's going on. So, and I want to share those stories as well.
Yeah, same here.
Yep.
Same here. I love talking about just different things like Mothman, and we talk about like mysterious deaths. We talk about supposedly people who are like immortal. Mm-hmm. We talk about all kinds of stuff, and
we're open to anything that is weird and just beyond.
Yeah.
Just unexplained.
Yep. Anything spooky.
Kooky and spooky. Yeah.
Yeah. Kooky and spooky.
I can't. I want to use that, but I can't do that, Sarah. I can't.
Oh, you can. I don't mind. Go for it.
Okay.
We just got to make her a batch of spooky cookies.
Yeah.
And whatever flavor she wants.
Yeah. We can put some Vegemite on it.
Vegemite. Did you tell her that you had that?
Yeah, I sent her the video.
Yeah.
Have you learned how to do that properly yet? So it's yummy.
I think I still have that same bottle. I don't think it's good anymore. Unless
with the taste like that, I think it's immortal. I think it's always.
There's so much salt in it probably doesn't go off.
Okay. So I was told, I think you told me that I got to put it on toast, but I got to put it lightly on toast, right?
With butter.
Yeah, like the thinnest scraping, like tiny little streaks of it. That's all you need. You don't need a thick layer of it, and you need lots of proper real butter.
Okay.
Salted butter, tiny scraping of Vegemite, and the bread needs to be bakery bread, like really nice fresh bread that you've toasted.
Yeah, because I've seen like people toast
sourdough is the best.
Yeah.
And I've seen people like put a thick layer of Vegemite, and then they'll even get the spoonful and then eat it. Like,
I had the spoonful.
Yeah, and I was like, do you still have your taste buds? Like,
yeah, I mean, I've tasted worse things, like cow intestines and
mussels.
Mussels. I like mussels.
I don't like mussels.
But Vegemite, it's such a strong flavor.
It is.
You have just a tiny little amount.
It's very pungent.
Yes.
Very pungent and a strong salty flavor. So
now it makes me wonder if Yowies, do they like Vegemite? You think if they ever saw it?
I don't know.
No, I'm guessing so, but only if it's made properly.
Now, Sarah, do you have Vegemite in your refrigerator or cupboard?
I have it in the fridge and I eat it for breakfast every morning on toast.
Yes.
Yeah.
With real butter.
Beautiful sourdough bread, like proper bread, real butter, and a small amount of Vegemite. They make Vegemite that's 25% less salt in it. And so I buy the slightly less salt version. But
it.
yeah, I love it. I have it every morning.
Sarah, I already like you. I like you more now.
Vegemite.
I like you too. I like you both. You're beautiful people.
Thank you. Thank you. We try.
So we've been going for an hour and 29 minutes. So I think I can do something with this show.
I think you can.
Okay. Sarah, how does the Bigfoot Club fans find you?
Oh, you can find me on my brand new website, which is yowiecentral.com, where I've got all my episodes. But you can also find me on all the major podcast platforms. I'm not on YouTube yet. I do have a YouTube channel, but I haven't got any videos up there yet because I haven't learned how to edit video yet. I'll get there one day. So it's audio only podcast and on all the major podcast platforms.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really, really enjoyed this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do a show on the weekdays at all. Only do it for special people.
Yep. She's going to say, I'm a regular person.
So,
really talk to you again. You're one of my favorite people that I've connected with over there in your country, and it's just a delight to talk to you again.
Yes,
great.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. So that's what we call ourselves now. We don't call ourselves podcasters. We call ourselves cryptid sports entertainers.
I remember you saying that.
So
because apparently all the cryptids are on different teams. And, they're trying to get, we're going to give them the Bigfoot Club Podcast this week or what? That's the finals.
Sarah, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to try to put this out tomorrow. And I'll send you the link on it, and I'll add all your links on there.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, if you could link to my website, that'd be cool.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right, my pleasure. Great to talk to you.
Yep.
And I'll have to get you guys on my show again soon at some stage.
Yes.
Might not make Christmas, but we can do that in early New Year.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Yep.
We look forward to it.
That'd be lovely.
Okay. Bye,
right.
Sarah.
Bye, Sarah.
Talk soon. Bye.
If you are listening to the show for the first time, thank you. If you are a continued member listening to the show, double thank you. You can listen to our podcast on anywhere you listen to podcasts. Please find us on social media with a like, follow, subscription, or a 5-star review, and it really helps us bring more quality content to you. If you would like to reach out to us via phone 1469-912-1535 or email bigfootclub1@gmail.com. I bid you good night and goodbye. Bang.